All right, here with Gwen again. Say hi, Gwen.
Hello.
We know you're human, not a robot. That's kind of why I always show my hands. Like, I am here. What was your question again? You said something that started our conversation.
I feel like that I always do the same
Oh,
configuration.
that's right. You were saying, I always feel like I do the 1, 2, 3. And so we were looking at it initially, and I think where the conversation led to, if I remember correctly, was I asked you a question like, oh, do you feel like if you do 6 pictures, do you have to have 3 and 3? Like you have to balance it? You said, no, that's not a thing. And I was like, okay, that's good to know. Right off the bat, it's really, straight, right? So, and I've heard people say like, I can't make my photos crooked because they will drive me crazy. I've heard people say that, and that's totally understandable, because that's a preference. But for me personally, and even with samples you see in the idea books, I would look at these 2 where they're straight and I would turn them inwards. I would almost create this slight focal point here, and then, however that else may be. So that's one thing that stood out to me right off the bat. But then it goes back to kind of our conversation we were having before, where we're conditioned to do this. And I think you've heard us talk about the photo templates. Have you heard us talk about the photo templates?
Yes.
Where we were like, should we release them or not? And we were like, scrapbookers will think we're crazy. Like we're about to try to sell them like squared things. But then we realized how beneficial they were. Because again, the beauty of the power of the design templates is you get out of your head for a little bit. And you don't have to like try to think about it. And you see variations and options to what you currently have. So you're going to be able to transform even your pictures, transform them. Did you bring your templates over? Oh, those are still over there. Let's grab your templates. So what I would probably say even in this matter is, although you're like, oh, I have 6 pictures, I can fit all 6 pictures on my page. And so you think there's no need for the photo templates. The photo templates, just like all other templates, will inspire you in design options that you're limited to with this, your pictures as your visualization. You're limiting yourself to that. So what you would do is, let's say what we do know is you want to use this designer template set, right? Those are things you're like, oh, I want to try this new border out, right? And you want to scrapbook these 6 pictures. And I have paper that I'm going to work with, right? Mm-hmm. So those are kind of things right off the bat. This is what I'll do sometimes. I'll come in and see what can I crop things down to. And then I put this to the side. I don't design with this until I'm ready to. Even with this, like I know I could crop that one down. So you see, like you're starting to, not that you have to do them all, but like even this could go down. So that's gonna go down. Let's see.
Maybe I feel like sometimes I think I got to have the whole picture in the image instead of cropping.
Well, you can ask yourself that. What is the story being told here? Because even here, like, is it? I mean,
yeah.
Is her story like?
Yeah.
Do you really have to have that?
Well, no, and then I think, well, look, I'm chopping her arm off.
There are times where that is applicable. Like you might say, oh, that's awkward, but that's also where it can play. Because I've had moments where it cuts off awkward, but like I would be able to see that and be like, oh, it's not cutting it off awkward. It's as if you took the picture.
Okay.
Right? So that's good. But, example we've always shared in the past in previous photo templates is like, but if you have like grandma's house in the background, then you could be mindful of that. Like, I don't want to cut grandma's house off in the background, because that could be cool for future generations to see. Mm-hmm. A hand, I don't know.
Yeah.
We all know she has a hand, right? Hopefully. But so you can see that you can kind of bring those down. Now, you don't have to. You know that you could go down to 4x4s, or at this point, these are probably, they're not true 4x6.
Yes, they are.
They are true 4x6?
Yeah, I just cut them down.
Oh, you already trimmed them down a little.
I already trimmed them down.
Okay. So like this one, this is a good example where, okay, the action is probably the board, right? But do you want her in the background? Or she just happened to be there?
I mean, I don't know. It don't matter. I could. Or couldn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You can see that. Like, you can see I'm going to crop this off. Now, granted, I would tell myself, like, okay, well, if she was laughing or she doesn't have the mask on here so I can see who this person is better. You could choose to say, like, I want that to stay. I don't want to crop it down. So let's go that route and see where that takes us. I don't remember how many I had here. So this one could be cropped. Another technique, so sometimes you could write on the back with a pencil, I don't know where my pencil went, what you chose to do on the back. So 3x4, right? 3x4. 4x4. But we're not trimming our paper or pictures yet either. We're not cutting our paper, we're not doing our pictures. We're just trying to see what variations of photos could I do here. 3x4. Another thing I've told someone before is you could do this. So you know, like, because you could pick up your template and be like, wait, was it this way or this way? You know?
Oh, you do the arrow up?
You could do an arrow up. And again, the templates, you can either take a magic eraser that will erase right off, or just
yeah,
a 4x6 is a square. It doesn't matter on that one. Or just erase it off, you know? But for the most part, 4x4s are a go-to for me. I either go 3 4x4s often, or 2 3x4s, and then the others are filled in with the 5x4s and the 4x6s. I'll explain that here in a moment. And then this one, a 4x4. And so you could do that if you need to, right? To kind of help you keep track of that. And then, yes, if you're keeping a 4x6, just use the 4x6. Or again, the templates can be nice if you don't have your pictures printed, but if you did, you could just say, okay, I'm gonna throw a 4x6 in so I can start. Now, just like you would accessorize with your templates, just like you would design with templates, this is now what you're saying, I need to design with these to see what I can come up with. And you're not limited to the current state, because just like we transform paper, you can transform your pictures into the design as well. You don't have to keep it in its current state. You know what I mean? Okay, so then taking your original design here, these are go-tos for me. When I see 4x4s, I do 2 side by side and this.
Okay.
That's because you were like, oh, my go-to is 2 4x5s and a thing, right? Usually when I see 2x2s, I'll start laying that down. I know I can usually always fit something like that easily enough. When I see 3x4s, I like them tilted into each other. Or you start going the across method, which could be, okay, I'm going to take this and you start tucking them in, right? And you did say this was an important thing, so you can keep this at the start of your story, left to right story, right? And then this is another go-to for me. So this tucking into borders is a go-to. The straight across is a go-to. Like I'll do straight across downwards.
Yeah, I did that on one of the layouts.
Right, so then I'll do kind of like that look. Like that. We're missing a 4x6, there it is. So you could do the 4x6. Do something like that. And then even what's nice about this is then when you see 4x6, you could do something like this.
That's cute.
So what's nice about starting with your borders and your photos, now your embellishment is just going to go up around that. So this is, again, we talked kind of about empty space. If this really bothered you, go to a ring here, a foundation, a tuck in or something so it stays nice in. I mean, if I was looking at this, I'd put something right here. And I'd probably
on top of the photo?
Just something small, like right there. Like that's my first go-to. But again, I could be wrong. It would just be my first instinct, and then I would pull out the templates, visualize it, and be like, just kidding. Like, you know what I mean? Once I can see it. But yeah, like then at this point you can do some, I know we've been pulling a lot of rings in, but you could do some rings to fill those in, or again, don't let it breathe. You know what I mean? Just let the page breathe. You don't have to fill in every spot. But now you're away from the slap, 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 and you have the aesthetic of your paper helping set the mood, right? You're gonna have that set the mood of your page, and you're not covering your borders, you're not, you know, looking over it or anything like that. So let's go back to our pictures. We know this was gonna be a 4x6. This was gonna be one of our 4x4s. This is gonna be one of our 4x4s. And you can start looking at your pictures that way too, saying, okay, well, do my pictures have a beginning and an end?
That was the beginning.
Beginning, correct. So put that over here. And then it just after that, you can, okay, so there you go. Dot, dot, dot. And then you would then trace and cut those out. Oh, I guess we pulled in an extra one. We didn't need this one. So you have plenty of room to journal, or just like, again, you could add another border over here to kind of fill that in. You don't have to, you don't even have to put a 2 over here on this side. Okay, so here's another thought too. If your pictures, this is another thing, I've looked at the back of your pictures, they're all the same color backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can make your pictures blend into each other because it happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like you'll have the same type of background, right? Like it's like, and they're blending. Then what you do is you matte. You can either matte them or choose only to matte middle ones. So if you pull in a white matte here, now you don't have them touching each other.
It breaks it up.
It breaks it up, and they'll make each picture stand out on its own instead of feeling like it's, yeah, just, you know, mixing together, like coming too far together. I was trying to find your 4x4 photo mat. I'm sure you have it. You're way more organized than I am.
This all 4x4. You mean the 4.5?
4.5, yeah, the 4.5.
They're right here.
Oh, there you go. And I just completely unorganized you. So same thing with the photo mats, just like how the photos can help you with that visualization. You can come in here and say, okay, well, I do want to break those. Again, you could choose to mat every picture, but sometimes it just takes breaking those in the middle up, and then it will bring that up. Sometimes if I choose to do this, like this is a funny one. I would put that one dead center. Mm-hmm. Give it the spotlight, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. And then make some decisions off of that. Isn't that cool? Any questions?
No. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys have any questions? All right, well, hopefully that helps. It takes a little exercise just playing with it, but it's again getting out of your head and like transforming your pictures into the process as well. Okay.